Good afternoon, Stampers. Hello, hello. How is everybody? I don't know. I was getting a little worried that I wouldn't be on today because it just kept spinning. It's been spinning for over a minute. So I was hoping everything was going to work okay. I am just getting onto Facebook. I am only going to be using my webcam again. I am finding that that is the best choice for me. So I will be watching your comments on Facebook and on here. So make sure you give StreamYard, there we go, permission to post your comments. So we are on here. How is everybody? Are you guys ready for Christmas? It's only a couple days away. Can you believe it? Oh, I've been ready. I'm just doing some cooking for the meals on Friday evening. We spend Christmas Eve with family, and then Christmas Day, we spend it with friends and neighbors. So I am so looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend. And I'm hoping that you are ready. Packages wrapped, cookies baked, and presents bought, right? It looks like we are not going to have a white Christmas here in the Chicagoland area, which I am disappointed about, but I think Christmas Eve we're supposed to be 50 degrees in the 50s and rain with some possible snow mixed in later in the evening. So my name is Judi Anderson, and I'm an independent demonstrator from the United States. And Diane and I get together every week and collaborate to bring you guys some ideas. So if you're watching on Facebook, hello. If you're watching on replays, please comment replay and let us know where you're coming from. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, hello, hello, welcome, and make sure you subscribe. So Diane brought you a project yesterday with the Friendly Hello package that you can get through Celebration. And I am using that same package today. Great minds think alike, right? So I'm going to flip the camera around and we are going to get started. Oop, there we go. Get my mic wire out of the way. And hopefully it stays out of the way. Okay, so this is the package that you can get with in the United States. It's $100 purchase. You get the stamp set, which is a set of 13 stamps, and it does have images and verses. We all love that when we get both in a stamp set, don't we? Yes, and then the coordinating DSP. Whoops, I have it upside down. So this is the fronts and the backs of the designer series paper. And as you can see, there's a lot of colors in here. You have fresh freesia, pale papaya, pool party, and granny apple green, and in an assortment of patterns. Now, Diane used this pattern yesterday with the pool party. I am using the one right above it, and I am going to use the front and the back. And we are going to do a pop-up card. So I have actually done part of the card already because I didn't think you guys would be wanting to watch me doing so much coloring and cutting. So our pieces are, I cut a strip of 1 1/4 inch of this designer series paper. And like I said, we're using both sides of this. I love purples and oranges together. So this is my kind of paper. And they're 1 1/4 by 3 inches. So I got 4 pieces, and we're going to be using 3 of these pieces in today's card. Let me turn my phone down just a little bit. Then we have a piece of basic black, and it's 4 3/4 by 3 1/4 inches. So we're going to be mounting these designer series paper on here, and I'll tell you how I got the size. We have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch basic white for the inside of our card, a scrap of the shimmer white. We'll be stamping and coloring on that. Then a strip of 1/2 inch by, I think this is 11. We're not going to use the entire strip. When I cut my cardstock down to do 4 by 5 1/4, I save some of those strips. I put verses on there and I use them for multiple things on my cards. Then our base, I am using the Fresh Freesia Basic 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And I am going to go ahead and burnish that. So we have our pieces. Let's start with our image. So I am going to use the bird image, just like Diane did yesterday. We're going to do a little coloring it with ours today. And here we go. So we're going to ink it up with Memento ink. This is a photopolymer stamp, so we do not recommend using Stays-On ink with it. So we're going to stamp that on here. Good image. Okay, there we go. Now, while I have my black out, and I am going to recommend you guys cleaning this stamp set using your Stampin' Scrub. And the reason being is the chamois doesn't get down in all to the crevices. And this has some crevices that the ink doesn't get out of. And with the little fibers, you can scrub this and get into all those little crevices so you have no ink left. Wash and dry. And I know you guys are going to say, Judi, but you've got black on one side and white on the other. Okay, our Stampin' Scrub used to come with white insides. And I've always used that for the dry. I like to use that for the dry side. That way my students know which side is the wet side and which is the dry side, number one. And these got really dirty and black when you washed on them and then dried on them. So you can see how much ink I do get off my stamps by drying them. So I just use them until they're all used up. While we have our Memento out, I am going to grab a leaf image. And the reason being is when we stamp this, we have black leaves. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 3 pieces of designer series paper and we're going to choose which pieces we want. Okay, I'm going to put the bird down here. So I think I'll put that way. Oh, this on this side, and then we're just going to flip, doesn't matter, one of them over. So we're going to be placing these on here. And I told you that I tell you how I got this measurement. I knew each of these were 1 1/4. Then I added a 1/2 inch for the outside, and then a 1/4 inch for the insides. And that's how I came up because I wanted my spacing. Now on here, we have no black leaves. So I'm going to go into my stamp set and I am going to grab the smaller leaf. I put these into my case as I use them, but I think that when I'm done here, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the case because isn't it great that they now have the photo on? And you can put these here and no more of these window sheets to possibly lose your stamp. So we're going to be coloring this, but I do want some black leaves in here. So I'm just going to take my Memento and stamp a few black leaves. So we are customizing our designer series paper. And this is great to do because then your paper looks different than anybody else's, right? Put a couple there. I'm going to go ahead and cover this leaf up here. Put one there. And we'll stick this one coming up here. Now remember, Memento is a water-based ink. I'm going to stick one right here. I know it's over my white ones. Once again, wash and dry my stamp. Let's close up our Memento. Now we're going to grab our Stampin' Blends. And we're going to color our designer series paper because I want to customize it to my card. And since it already has pale papaya there, we're going to be coloring these flowers with the light Fresh Freesia. Okay, and this is really quick. I'm not worrying about shading on these. I am just coloring them in. So you are going to see the difference between the two. Now you're going to notice that in some of your flowers, you do have leaves, so be careful there. We are going to be coloring those. And you also have some of the fresh freesia background going into your flowers, and that's okay. Just color right over it. And this is very quick. Now, once I'm done with this one, I'm not going to color on the other one yet. We will color it in just a second. I want you guys to see the difference between the two papers. I'm going to take my light Granny Apple Green and I'm going to color in the leaves. And this goes very quickly also. And the pattern of the paper will show through all the veining, so you don't have to worry about that. It's not going to cover that up. But we are totally changing this paper. And I love that they give you the colors. You could change your colors. You don't have to go with the colors that they have listed. You could change this to anything. Okay, so, oops, we have a leaf down here that I need to color. And I am going to go right around those flowers because they are on top of this leaf and they can remain white. Kind of like baby's breath, right? Okay, so we have those. So look at the difference between the two papers. Totally different. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to color in this one. I don't have as many leaves showing on this paper, and that's okay. We're just going to color in what is showing. We have one here. A lot of this strip, I'm going to put this one on the left side, I think. I'm not going to color that white there. You could if you wanted. It would be your project, your card, so you can color how you want. You could color the center of the flowers. I'm not going to because I think it's fine just not doing that. And as you can see, this goes really, really fast. And when you choose your pattern for this, remember this panel is going to be partly covered. Now, aren't those great? Now, see how now that blends in with that fresh freesia strip. Now it's time to color our bird and our flowers here. Same thing. We're going to bring that color palette right over to our image. And unfortunately, there are not dies for this, you guys. I'm going to tell you right now, there are no dies to cut these out. So we're going to fussy cut them, and that's okay, right? Okay. Our bird, I am going to use Light Pool Party for its breast. And I'm going to flick out here so it blends in. And I'm going to flick a little bit there because I don't want such a definite line. Now, for around her face, I am going to use a little bit of Granny Apple Green. And I am going to flick it into there, and I'm going around the eye. Just like that. I know it looks terrible right now. Don't panic. Don't say, oh my gosh, Judi, what are you doing? We're going to use the dark fresh freesia to color the bird, not worrying about shading. And we're going to flick it into that Granny Apple Green a little bit and go around the top for her head. Now, if I wanted some areas darker, I could just do another little coat of ink. Okay, and then we are going to grab our light. Yeah. Let me see. This is my ivory. Sorry. I want to do my light crumb cake for the branch because it does have this branch. And I don't want it really dark. Just color that like that. Okay, now with the bird that's dried a little bit, we're going to use our color lifter to lighten it a little bit. Be very, very careful with using this. When you get too close to the edges, it bleeds out, okay? So don't go all the way to the edge. Mine is super wet, so I am just want to lighten up this Granny Apple a little bit because even though I use the light Granny Apple, it kind of was a little bit too dark for my liking. Okay, so I've got that done. So I'm just going to flick my pool party up. Good morning, Diane. How are you? Okay, so we're done coloring. So now we have to fussy cut this baby out. Grab my paper snips, and it doesn't take long. I actually cut the other one out for the inside of our card because that is what we're going to be popping up on the inside. So you wouldn't have to do the pop-up. You could do, if you're not very comfortable doing a pop-up card, but you guys, this is so easy. I'm showing you the easy way today to do them. Bring this down. Okay, I'm not cutting this very good. My camera is in my way just a little bit. Let me go around that way. Okay. Hello, Diane. How are you doing? I was saying that we don't have snow, and I'm a little jealous of you spending so much time with your granddaughters. I bet you're having a blast up there with them. And welcome to the Central Time Zone. Oh, it does throw you off, though. I know when I go to visit my girlfriend in Phoenix, it really throws me off because sometimes she's 2 hours difference than us, and sometimes she's only an hour. And I believe she is only an hour difference now. So, you know, we never know when to call each other, right? Crazy time zone. I wish we wouldn't do daylight savings time. I don't know if you guys all do it where you live. It kind of throws you off. Now you have a choice here. We could go all the way down in here, or we could go just around the head. I am choosing to go all the way around there. I'm going to do just around the head first so you can see what it looks like. I do leave a little bit of white on the outside, so when I don't cut perfectly, I'm not cutting off that black line. So that's a little secret. Let's cut all that waste off. And by using that shimmer paper, it is a little bit sturdier, number one. And number two, it kind of gives a shimmer to your bird. So we could leave that. It looks fine. We're going to go ahead. Oh, sorry. And trim out that inside. And the reason why I am doing that is because when I did the inside bird, my color lifter did bleed a little bit. So I had to cut it off. So there we go. Okay, we have that. So let's start assembling our card. And I'm going to give you guys a choice right now. So I want you to make a comment. Do you think I should use the fresh freesia ribbon or the pale papaya? So while I'm putting this together, put your votes in. Let us know. And don't forget, if you like what I'm showing you, give us the thumbs up or give us hearts. Make sure you share the video, whether you're watching through Diane's or my Facebook. Okay, and I'm using my liquid glue because it's got a little bit of give, and I do the two outside first. I am going to line this up here so I can look at the top. So I usually eyeball my gaps, but we'll do it just like this right now. I look at the top and the bottom and then the side, and see how you can wiggle that a little bit. So we're going to go to that side, and then we're going to go to this side, and we're going to put this side on. And you'll notice that I have the flower on the top on that side, and that is because I'm going to have the bird in the lower quadrant of that panel. Now I can put this one on, and I can take a look at my two gaps. And oh, I squished those side ones a little bit too much to kind of get them even, and the top and the bottom. I'll wipe that off real quick there. Okay, so those look pretty even. So has anybody voted on the color ribbon? I am not seeing comments. So I am going to choose, oh my gosh, I'm going to use the fresh freesia just because it shows up a little bit more on the sides. So we're just going to measure this, take our paper snips, and go right along here. I'm going to grab my tear and tape to adhere this. Oh, if I can get this up. My fingers are stuck. I wipe that glue off. Okay, so we want to make sure that this is pretty even down here. Or do I want it towards the top? No, I'm going to keep it towards the bottom. You know, I could use both ribbons and do a double strip across there, and that would be pretty too. Okay, we're just going to attach that and make sure it's straight across on the front before I attach the second one. Okay, now I'm going to grab the inside of my card and put this all to the side, and we're going to do some stamping. Now I am going to use my Stamparatus, and the reason being is I want to make sure my sentiment is really dark. And I know by using my Stamparatus, I can make it really dark. So I'm going to grab my sentiment, and it's going to say, hello, friend. And where's my paper? I'm not necessarily putting my paper here. This was for a class so that people knew where to put their paper. I just line it up in this bottom corner. And I know that when I do my pop-up on the inside, I am going to be coming out approximately an inch. So I want to make sure that my sentiment is at least an inch down. It's actually going to be 1 1/8 inches, but that's okay. I just go basic. So 1/8 or 1 inch. So we're at right there, and my inch is here. So I want to be below that point. And I'm going to go even lower just because I want that to stand out. Okay, let's push that down. It's going to stick to our paper as it always does, but you want to make sure that you know where you place your paper. Oops, get my magnet. And my magnet doesn't want to come off. Okay, let's place our paper again. Now, when you place your magnet, when you're using photopolymer stamps, you want to make sure your magnet is far enough away. And that is because the magnet is the same thickness as your photopolymer stamp. So you want to make sure it's far enough away, or else you're not going to get a good image. And it's going to take you a couple of times. Okay, we're going to ink this up. Really good. And normally I stamp these twice. I don't have my little rubber here. I have it on the other side. No excuses, I'm not traveling like Diane. Okay, lift it. Oh, that came out pretty good, but I want to do it again. And hopefully my paper didn't move too much, right? I should have used 2 magnets on it, but it looks like it's lined up. I'll double check. Yep. Let's press really good. There we go. See how nice and dark it is now? Okay, so I have all our pieces, right? So I have the bird that I just stamped for the front, and here's the bird that I stamped earlier. They're pretty close. Okay, and we have our card base. So we're going to do the front of the card first. We're going to go ahead and attach this. We're going to attach it, though, with dimensionals. I want dimension on the front of this card. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Oh, maybe not. Oh. There we go. I put a dimensional there. Let's peel this one off. You know, if you rub your tear and tape, it's easier to pull off that protective coating. Okay, and you want to make sure that you use enough dimensionals on this. You want it to pop up. Make sure it's popping up. Okay, So I'm going to put one in the middle, there, and there. And then I have this strip here. So I'm going to go ahead and use that for the center of my card rather than using a couple dimensionals, because I don't want this sagging. I want it sticking up. Put this here. I have been scrapbooking over the last week, and I took some of my tools up to the room that I scrapbook in. I try to keep that separate because I don't know, when we make cards, we think we make a mess. Oh my gosh, when we scrapbook, I really make a mess. I don't know about you guys, but I've been trying to catch up. Well, I shouldn't say catch up. I am trying to do my children's scrapbook pages. I've been terrible about keeping up with it. And it's kind of funny. I was talking to my oldest the other day, and I told him, I says, you can really tell in your scrapbook that when I began scrapbooking and how I've been scrapbooking lately, actually not even lately, but since I found Stampin' Up, because oh my gosh, my original scrapbook pages, I feel so sorry for him. I was apologizing and he just kind of laughed. He says, Mom, that's okay. Okay, so we're going to put this bird, I don't even know which was which. They're pretty similar. We're going to put her right in the middle here. And I'm going to use dimensionals, and I'm just going to go ahead with the black dimensionals. I have them handy, so that's what I'm using. Putting those on for the front. Right here. Yeah, I missed my take your pick tool. It's upstairs. And we're going to place this right here. Okay, now we're going to go to the inside. A lot of times when you do pop-up cards, you'll put a slit in your card base, but we would have seen that slit here. So I didn't want to see that slit. So we're going to make our own pop-up. So that's where that 1/2 inch strip comes. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, and then with the scoring blade, we're going to go ahead and at 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inches, I am going to score. And then 2 1/2 inches, 3 3/4 inches, and then 5 inches. And then at 6 1/4, I'm going to cut it. Okay, I like that bottom piece to be doubled. And we're just going to score on or fold on all those score lines. And we are going to create a box. Just like that. Okay, we're going to use our liquid glue, or no, you know what? I'm going to use my tear and tape just because this is going to move a lot. So I want to make sure that it is stuck together. Now you could choose, oh, sorry, to do this in either the fresh freesia or whatever card base you use, or the white. I just chose white for mine. And I'm butting that up right up to that score line. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put the inside piece on. And you could have done this at 3 3/4 by 5 and matted it on black also to bring that front of the card to the inside. I didn't think of that, so we are just doing it this way. Okay, let's put it down, give it a good rub. Okay, so now we are going to place our pop-up piece. We're going to place it at that fold line, but not all the way in. So we want to fold this up, and you want that doubled piece to be on the bottom. So to remember how you want to place it on, go ahead and take your tear and tape, and put it on that piece. And then I'm going to put it on the piece that's going to be the back. Okay. And you can turn any normal card into a pop-up card just by using this quick technique. This is fun for birthday cards. Okay, so we know this is the bottom and this is the back. I'm going to fold that. And it is thicker than that fold line. So like I said, I am going to put it out just past that score line. Okay, so you've got your mountain. And then just a little tiny, like a smidge. And we're going to put that and we're going to fold this like that. Okay, now it's going to lift up and see how that pops up. Now it will not open completely because you have not gone all the way to that score line. And I don't want it to open completely. Now we're going to place our bird on there, just like this. So I am going to take some liquid glue, decide how I'm going to place it. Now when you place it, you don't want to overlap that bottom fold line there, because if you put it here, when it closes, it's going to bend that. So you want to go up just a little bit. So I see that my line is going to be right in here where I'm going to attach it. And just like this. Now, I didn't have to come a full inch out or 1.25 inches out. I could have come out a 1/2 inch instead, but I knew I wanted my height to be 1.25 inches. Okay, so when it folds, watch the folding action. It's going to fold flat. Okay, so it's flat so you don't know. So we're going to finish decorating the front of this card. I feel that it needs some embellishments. Let's go with our black mats. Dots. And put these on. I'm going to have to use my paper snips. And I want to put them around the bird. I don't really need a whole lot of black over here. So we're just going to put a couple above it here. Whoops. Look at my finger, pick that one up. I must not have, no, I didn't pick up the glue. I didn't slide it under. There we go. Let's get that one back there. This on there. And now I have to pick this up to see where that glue dot is. It's a little shiny, so I should be able to see where it is. Let's pick up another one, making sure I slide underneath. We're going to put this one right down here. Now, gorgeous card just by itself. I could put a sentiment here, and I might put the birthday one. It depends on what I use it for. So instead of not stamping on the inside sentiment, I'm not stamping the outside sentiment on this. Hello, Karen. Thanks for coming on today. Hope you're doing well. So, very simple card. You can turn any card into that pop-up card like that using a celebration item. Don't forget, this is coming up in January, and it is a level 2. So I think in Canada it's $120, but in the US it's a $100 option. Okay, I'm going to flip y'all around. Oops, I don't want it right in my face though, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed our projects this week and look forward to coming again next week between Christmas and New Year's. Have an enjoyable New Year's with your friends and your family and whoever you are celebrating it with. Enjoy and take a moment to breathe this holiday and just enjoy each other. Okay, so Merry Christmas to everybody, and I wish you a Happy New Year next week instead of this week. And until next time, happy stamping. Bye-bye.